listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast. I'm coming to you live today from Building 37 at Microsoft Redmond, home of the Windows 10 team. So stay tuned for all of that noise and nonsense in 2015. But today we have a more immediate, and I would offer a more important issue that we're addressing, and that concerns hybrid computing from a couple of different perspectives in terms of the 2003 server into support deadline next mid-July. It also concerns Office 365 and how that plays in a hybrid scenario. This is the next in a series of conversations we've had with Zynstra. So I want you to understand each of these conversations is progressive. However, with the tip of the hat, we do make sure we set a common baseline at the beginning relatively quickly for those of you that are joining the conversation at midpoint, so you kind of understand what we're talking about. Then we move the yardsticks, or shall I say meter sticks, forward. Zynstra's from the United Kingdom and has recently entered the North America market with a distributor called Telco MSP. We'll talk about them in just a minute. So folks, be sure to use the chat feature to ask your questions as always, and we love your feedback. You're going to receive a thank you email from us tomorrow with the link for the replay and any additional information that Telco MSP and Zynstra thinks is important to you. And I think that's it. I'll definitely be myself as usual and kind of offer some color commentary. But with that said, we have Rhett from Zynstra and we have Jeff from Telco MSP. And I think we're ready to get going. So, gentlemen, what say you? Rhett, we'll start with you.
Great. Thanks, Harry. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually in sunny Boston today, which is really nice. The first thing you're probably looking at is wondering why there's a scuba diver on the first slide. So that's the teaser for the presentation to see how I can link in a scuba diver into an SBS Part 3 WS2003 conversation. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'll be talking through a bulk of the slides, and it'll be Jeff Pont from Telco MSP. His details you'll see a little bit later, who's doing the speaking for Telco MSP. I'll try, as Harry said, to whiz through the first few slides because these are a recap of some of the materials we've been through before, but also set the scene for those of you that missed unbelievably the first few webinars, but we'll forgive you for that, and we'll just whiz through those slides. So if you have seen some of the materials before, then please bear with us, but there is plenty of progress and some materials later on which we think you'll be really interested in. So Heather's going to drive the slides from Seattle. So Heather, if you could go on to the next slide, please, that would be great. Actually, Jeff, do you want, oh, right, the slides have changed pretty quickly. Jeff, did you want to introduce yourself as well so that people know your voice?
Yeah, my name is Jeff Pont, and I'm one of the co-founders of Telco MSP, and I'll go through my portion a little bit later. I'm sitting in today for my partner Daniel Langton, who was on one of the previous slides, and we are North American distribution for Zynstra, and we're kind of a symbiotic coupling of a few other services that go along with that are those services that, quite honestly, every one of us need on a daily basis. So I look forward to tag teaming here with Rhett.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jeff. So the webinar objectives, a quick recap and intro from Harry on the SBS WS2003 opportunity, if you didn't know it already existed. What we wanted to talk about is how to turn that opportunity into a much wider one and open that out into a hybrid IT as a service solution. And that, along with Office 365, has proven to be, for many of you already, an excellent start point to move your customer to a services model. So that's great. And as Jeff mentioned, we can talk about the advantages of using Telco MSP and some of the other ways that they're looking at helping you increase your enterprise value. So this is a fairly unique and interesting presentation, and it's solving a point solution from a technology perspective, but providing an enabler to actually help you move your business forward and hopefully increase your enterprise value. So we'll try and get through the bulk of the material in the next 35-40 minutes so that there's plenty of time for conversation. We have some next steps that if you're interested after going through this presentation that there's some special incentives to help you, hopefully move forward and be rewarded for that. So, Heather, if you'd like to move on to the next slide, that would be great. So I think this one's for you, Harry. The next couple, just if people unbelievably, again, didn't know who you were, there's a chance for you to reiterate that.
No, exactly. And hey, folks, we're here because of you, but just FYI, I've updated my LinkedIn profile, so please take a spare moment in the near future and link with me up on LinkedIn. And Heather, let's do the next slide, please.
This one's taking a while.
Yeah, we'll let that slide come right along. There we go. And folks, very quickly, if you're not familiar with SMB Nation, we're a community. More importantly, the slide speaks for itself, but more importantly, and Jeff and Red, I don't know if you guys knew this, but tomorrow, Halloween, is literally and technically our 15th anniversary. I left the accounting firm on November 1st, 1999, so boy howdy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, it's going to be quite a Halloween party tomorrow night. Yeah. Next slide, please, Heather. And Red, would you like to drive this slide, or would you like me to just make a few comments on maybe how we got to where we're at? What's your pleasure?
Yeah, no, I think it's important to know that you've been looking at the SBS and WS2003 opportunity for quite a while, and you've literally travelled the world twice, probably 3 times by now, going around looking for partners and solutions that you think would be of interest to your community. In a genuinely looking for solutions for the team without any bias. So the way that we got together was as part of that. So if there's anything to add on that, that I think would be useful for people to know that.
Yeah, I mean, I put a wrapper on it that it was, ironically, as I mentioned, I'm in Building 37 with the Win 10 team, and they were one of the sponsors of that world tour, and so, Rhett, you have the benefit of hearing over 30 countries, a lot of different perspectives and stories, and it looks like we'll do something again in 2015. And that's the takeaway, is that, I mean, I literally went around the world a couple of times and gathered information, and you guys were the only one I've seen in this realm. So, yep. Again, yep. A tip of the hat.
Yeah. And hopefully, as we go through this slide deck, we can actually show how we how we are unique, and it's not just unique from a solution perspective, but it helps you move your customer to a services model, which in turn can help you grow your business value. So it's a real enabler and has universal applicability, and that's what we hope we'll bring out as we go forward. Not just solving the SBS opportunity and WS2003 opportunity, but a genuine solution for any customer that has a server or solution that needs to be refreshed. And the other thing that we've added in is the telco MSP ecosystem, and again we try to be unique with that, building on the feedback from Harry and also Carl that know the community well and has worked with you for at least 15 years, as Harry's mentioned. So Heather, if you could move on to the next slide, that'd be great. So for those of you that don't know who Zynstra are or is, my role here is VP Biz Dev, and I look after 3 things: geographic expansion, verticalization, but also the strategic relationships with HP and Microsoft. So the Zynstra company was founded in Bath in UK in 2011, and it was founded by some proven and successful software experts who built a previous company that delivered mission-critical software to the telcos around the world. And those telcos have a history, as people in the audience who've dealt with them, of wanting to build this type of software themselves, whereby the bigger the software challenge, they want to try and build this. So we, as the previous company, managed from starting from Bath to build a world-leading product that enabled those telcos around the world to provision their network and to bring new customers on, and convince people like AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, etc., that we had a product that could do this better than you could do yourself. And that grew to over 650 people. It's a worldwide product, and eventually got acquired by a company called Amdocs. So those guys had time off, and they looked at the market, and they could see that most of the investment was being put into organizations that were looking to move their software into the cloud or run applications in the cloud, or to enable you to run better solutions in the cloud. But nobody was investing in solutions to enable you as a small, medium business to run your business better, taking advantage of some of the economics of the cloud. And that's what Zynstra set out to achieve. They believed that there was hybrid IT would be the end result of the move to the cloud. It would look like it was going to the cloud and then bounce back to this position where we are today, where hybrid IT is now expected to be the norm. And over the last 3 years, we've been working in stealth mode, building that software, testing it out in commercial environment, getting some beta customers up and running with those for over a year. And we launched the product earlier this year. So those of you that would have been on our first webinar, which was back in July, would have seen that we literally just come out, and the next couple of bullets have sort of shown how we've gained significant traction and recognition by the likes of Ovum as having a product that is significant, not just in technology terms, but the impact it can have both on the SMB but on the MSP. So just looking at the product itself, it's targeted at SMBs, and it is sold exclusively through our partners, the channel, to enable you to deploy solutions faster and manage them easier. The goal is to deliver through you a worry-free, on-premises, hybrid cloud IT solution that is sold as a service. It delivers enterprise-class IT, all the best things that you would expect from the cloud, but on-premise. Therefore, it's an ideal solution for that SBS marketplace, and we will talk a little bit more about that later on. As a complete package, it includes the Zynstra software, the HP server, the HP Care Pack, and all of the Microsoft licensing and EA licenses for the Azure backup and DR. It's pre-integrated, it's out of the box. You take it out of the box on the customer site, and within an hour you should be ready to start doing the migration of any line of business apps. And it's all sold as a service. We've bundled all of that. We've sorted out the financing for you. So it's a complete package. Not only our sophisticated software, but also everything else you would need to make your life easier. And because of that, we, in a very short time, we've gained significant traction and attention in the market. We've signed up our first multi-thousand customer migration deals in the UK, and that's been replicated in Holland, Sweden, Germany, and France. And this is where organizations have a large client base of WS2003 or SBS customers, and their plan is to move them to a service-based approach using the Zynstra platform. For North America, for some of you that were on the previous webinars, you may remember that we set up an advisory panel of 18 partners from the US and Canada, and we were there to listen to what changes we may need to do to our product to make it suitable for your region, and how to best articulate that. And some of those first advisory panel members have already won their first customers and are delivering solutions as a result. And in the process of that, again, taking feedback from Harry as to what, and the advisory panel, we've worked with Telco MSP, who are now open for business to take your orders today, to actually put in place the start of an ecosystem that we feel will really be a specialty distributor that's there for you to make your job easier around that Zynstra platform. So we're pretty excited about what we're trying to achieve there, and hopefully, again, you'll see that later on. And as we said, it's got external recognition as well from Ovum, and there's other quotes from Gartner, etc., that say hybrid IT is the norm, and these guys are unique in the marketplace. Obviously, they get paid a lot of money to say that. Harry did that for you, and as part of his travels. Heather, next slide, please.
Oh my, that's kind of a spooky photo.
Yeah. So with this this slide, with the SBS WS2003 dilemma is that a lot of your customers that are still on SBS or WS2003 are a fairly self-select group in that they probably resisted your attempts to move them forward, and partly maybe because they're a bit worried about going to the cloud. Maybe it's because they don't have the capex to do that. Maybe the line of business apps don't run in the cloud. But they may be also thinking, I quite like the sound of this cloud, but I'm nervous. So what they're looking at is, why can't I have the best of the cloud but have it on-premise? And why can't I have that best of both worlds? So I don't want to build this myself. I don't really want to pay the partner to build it themselves. I'm nervous about everything going into the cloud. How can I get all the best of the cloud but still keep it on-premise, but not have that sort of mess that you have on the left-hand side of the picture? So Heather, if you do the next slide. I think there may be some animation on this one which actually says, I want, as an on-premise, I still want the server in the corner, but I want it worry-free IT, I want it pay-as-you-go, and I want it without any capital outlay. And yes, Zynstra, as an on-premise hybrid IT, can deliver you and your customers the best of both worlds. So what you get effectively is a local private cloud delivering enterprise-grade IT services that is integrated with Azure as a backup and DR service within the public cloud. So you can decide what data remains on site, what IP remains on site, and what you back up and store in the cloud for either backup or disaster recovery. So we give you and your customer that choice, so they can feel comfortable they get an on-premise server, but some of the key data is backed up and is available to restore from the cloud. Heather, next slide, please. So the Zynstra solution has two key components. It has the Appliance, which is based on the HP ProLiant hardware. We are exclusive to HP. So you can only buy our software on HP, and it's already runs on the Gen 8, and also we were a beta partner for the Gen 9, so it's available on Gen 9, and also it's available on the microserver as well. It's hyper-converged, it's virtualized, autonomic, has a whole range of features, and we can talk a little bit more about those now. In the next few slides. It comes already pre-staged, as I mentioned before, with everything built in, so that it's a real out of the box, and within an hour it should be ready for you to actually start using as to start your migration services. The integration with Azure for cloud backup, DR, the encryption of the data before it goes into Azure is all there as all part of the service. The other part that we provide is the cloud management interface, whereby we will manage it remotely via the cloud, and we will provide enterprise-class monitoring and management, but we will keep the operating system and the applications current. And we, any security updates, any patches, etc., we will push those out to the client base for you so that you don't have to worry about that. So it gives not only worry-free IT to your customer, but also it reduces the workload for you as the partner. There is a range of appliances, and basically the axes, and there's another slide on this later, is number of users, number of VMs, end-user file store, and that affects the cost. And some of the appliances can be both tower or rack to suit. Heather, next slide, please. So it's a completely virtualized environment, and there are sort of three categories of virtual machines that are running. There's the core generic workloads, which is your Active Directory, your backup, your file server, your print server, your internet gateway and security, and again the next slide we'll go into a bit more detail on that. So these VMs in blue are what comes out of the box, all based on our on virtualization layer, and things like Active Directory single sign-on is all part of that. If you want Exchange and RDS as a managed app, which means it will be delivered pre-integrated by Zynstra, we will also keep current Exchange and RDS and all specific line of business apps. So you can buy that through Zynstra under our supplier licensing. We can ship it to you. It comes with the appliance, and if there are any updates to Exchange or RDS, we keep it current with the Windows Server operating system. And then the final area of VMs is the Windows or the Linux VMs that you as the partner would put the line of business apps in, and you would keep those applications current and or up to date and manage that part of the migration. So you have your out-of-the-box platform VMs and apps. You have your optional managed apps, Exchange, RDS, could be Link, SharePoint, etc. And then you have your own VMs that you could actually run or the customer can use for their own line of business apps. But all of those VMs are managed by us and are containerized such that any one VM cannot pull the server down, and there's many ways in which we can keep them up to date and current for you through the smarts of the platform. Heather, next slide please. So this spider diagram, as we call it, I have in some cases taken an hour and a half to go through this, where you're sitting down with a CTO or a business owner, where they're looking at each one of these functions and trying to understand exactly what we try and do for you as part of the core IP that Zynstra brings. But basically, what we're providing is a complete environment that's enterprise class IT for your SMBs at all as a service at a price that hopefully they can afford. So we have a range of capability. You can have a single appliance or a clustered, close-coupled cluster for high availability if you have connectivity and you have data on site that is highly valuable that you don't want to lose. So for people who have data that is just too expensive to lose or to be backed up, then we can put a high availability cluster on site and scale accordingly. We have a lot of tools to help you with multi-site, whether it's VPN or MPLS. We have user identity management and security for Active Directory, single sign-on, user console. We have the range of file and print management servers. We have a range of tools to help you with the network gateway, DNS. We have specific tools for school content filtering. The server, the appliance comes with firewall, antivirus, intrusion detection out of the box. So if you had a greenfield site, we provide all of that as part of the appliance, so you wouldn't need a third-party apps for security. If you have security component firewall in place, we would sit behind that and work nicely behind your existing firewall. So if you've got an investment, we work with that. If it's a greenfield site, we can save you money and your customer money on those areas. We talked about the containers, Windows or Linux, that come with the appliance, and there's depending on the appliance, you'll have a license for anything from 1 to 2 Windows appliances, VMs, up to 32 on some of the larger machines. And that can be a mix of Windows and Linux sized accordingly. We talked about the managed apps or the curated apps that if we provide to you and your customer as part of our service, then we keep it current and we provide it under our supplier licensing. And then there's a whole range of features that we have as far as integrating into the cloud for single sign-on into applications, single sign-on into ADFS. There's work that we do with Office 365 to make that directory sync, to make that easy. Our backup into the cloud is all encrypted, so that only the customer has the keys for that. So they, if they are nervous, then we have an extra level of security on top of that that encrypts it as it goes into the cloud. If you take the cloud backup and DR option, if somebody was to break into your customer and steal their server, we will replace that, and because all of their image is in the cloud, we can actually get you and them back up and running as quick as possible. We have a view that we'll have the customer up and running within 4 hours in the cloud, and then we have up to 10 days to actually replace the server and get it up and running for you and them. And there's the real smarts in the automatic updated, how we can auto configure, curate, and patch all of the servers around the world automatically in a safe and secure way without the customer having to ideally experience any downtime. And there's a, yep.
Yeah, Rhett, hey, just a sanity check, folks. We're essentially at midpoint, bottom of the hour for the webinar. So be sure to start queuing up those questions in the chat feature, and we'll get to those shortly. And again, if you're joining us late, we are in a series, an ongoing series of hybrid server conversations, as both a replacement to small business server and part of the 03 migration motion, and then just native organic growth on the server side. So, Rhett, please continue.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, and a good checkpoint there. Thank you. So web-based console for multi-tiered health monitoring, etc. So Heather, next slide, please. So a complete range of functionality that MSP and partners may have had to build themselves, or the customers might think that they can build themselves as well. So we've done all of that for you. There's tens of man-years that have gone into making this a product for you and to make your job easier. So we talked about the management platform. It's tuned for each of the use cases, so you get to see all of your customers, and the customer gets a nice desktop so that they can see the condition of their network, their appliance, if there's any areas that they need to be aware of, and they also have a simple console for add, moves, and deletes of users, such that if somebody leaves, they can be taken off Active Directory as quick as possible. So there's a range of management tools that we have in place to enable you to see what's going on with your customer, but also for the customer to see what's happening on their own appliance. Heather, next slide, please. And as you'd imagine from a company with the sort of heritage in telco, that area is pretty robust and well thought out as to how to manage thousands of customers on a worldwide basis. The appliance range, we've already mentioned this, so everything from a microserver up to the Z1460, which can cope with, say 250 active users, unlimited VMs. We're looking at about 36 VMs there, and you're looking at a terabyte plus of end user file store. And just to give you a flavor, this is the wholesale pricing to you as a partner. You'd be looking at sub $250 a month for the Zynstra appliance, all the software, the HP Care Pack, etc., and the Azure backup and DR option, going up towards the $2,750 a month for a single appliance at the 1460 for that type of workload. And we can provide more details on that as your interest grows. Next slide, please, Heather. So we talked about SBS and already mentioned that they could be a self-select group. They like having their on-premise server. The SBS was a great package, as everyone knows. It came pre-bundled with a whole range of capability. We believe with the Zynstra platform, we can effectively mimic that whole environment and have it pre-bundled, pre-integrated, and delivered as a single monthly fee, but with the added advantage that you have cloud backup and DR as part of that platform. You have cloud management, where we're keeping the system current for you, and a whole range of features to make it easy to migrate the customer from your SBS WS03, that environment that they feel comfortable with, to a SBS version 2 or even generation 3, as Carl and Harry have mentioned it in the past. So where you have that existing on-premise server, we believe we're an easy migration to keeping that on-premise server, but moving them up a couple of generations in thinking of how that platform should work for you as the partner and for the customer file. Heather, next slide, please. These slides, I believe, Harry, will be available, and we can obviously email them to you. I did prepare the slides with two views. One was to present through and talk over, but also to provide as a reference for those of you that want to come back to the slides later. So if you take what we've already discussed as far as this sophisticated platform, and you look at the benefits that it delivers the end user, all of these things add up to worry-free enterprise-class IT experience that they can buy from you, their trusted IT partner. The total cost of ownership should be lower for them over the 3-5 year period. It's not only an ideal solution for their existing on-premise server, but it actually moves them forward to this hybrid cloud IT, so they can have that ramp up or step up to full cloud at some point in the future if they wanted it. There's no CapEx, or it can be a mix of CapEx and OpEx. It's easy to budget, simple fees, and after 3 years, if they're on a 3-year contract, we replace the server for a brand new shiny server, and they just keep paying the service fees with you. So, you have a customer, you don't have to keep reselling it, year on year. It's delivering hybrid cloud IT as a product for them as a customer, which hopefully makes them feel comfortable, and they will get the ongoing benefits of the product development. It brings the on-premise thinking in line with other sort of all-inclusive fees. It's easier for you to keep them current, and we are sorting out the software issues that would tend to have caused problems in the past and lost productivity. If you're looking at customers that have a franchise or multi-sites, then what you have here is a consistent instance that can be shipped to all sites, so that you as the partner know that every instance is going to be the same and it's going to be managed in a consistent manner. And for the end user, it addresses the concerns over that choice that they can keep data on premise, or they can back it up into the cloud, but it's fully encrypted and they have the keys. But you can give them that choice. Next slide, please, Heather. So there's plenty of benefits for the end user, which we hope will make it easy for you to sell the solution to them. But there are many benefits for you as the partner, over and above the technical aspects. It is a product developed by software experts to make your job easier. That can free up your own resources to concentrate on that higher value IT activity, or actually winning more customer deals. We mentioned it's a product solution. It has a wide range of capability. It's out of one box, and it's all licensed and pre-integrated for you. One of the partners said, this is great because it means that I can get the trainees involved, I can get less expensive people, because your solution stops at them coloring outside of the box when they're doing the installs, or actually causing any problems for some of the upgrades. And as we mentioned, it's a consistent instance. Yeah. Sorry, Harry?
Right, yeah. When we get to the questions, I'll tip you off. There's a question coming, and I'll read it later, but it's kind of along the lines of how can the partner, stay relevant and make money and so on. So I just wanted to tip you off to that question, and again, we'll hit it head on in a minute, because this slide is essentially addressing some of the partner concerns that you've heard from your tours. So
absolutely,
just an FYI.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, and absolutely. The staying relevant is, we'll come on to that as we look at how some of the partners are using the Zynstra platform to move up the value chain and not spend time building servers or doing patches on 200 servers. They can concentrate their time on looking at bring your own devices or other areas that are actually causing the customer problem. They can move into the consultancy, more high value IT consultancy, and or the specialization in those line of business apps. But this some partners call it is the washing up, and we can do that for you. And not everyone likes doing the washing up. I certainly don't. But this isn't. This is the same thing you have to do time and time again. So you can definitely stay relevant by looking at the higher value areas whereby we do the washing up for you. And also it supports that move to that recurring services model, which hopefully helps you remain competitive. And there's plenty of market thought leaders that are saying, as an MSP, you've got to be looking at using more product and concentrating on the higher value services. So the Zynstra platform should help you, deliver faster, manage easier. You should be able to deploy more. The support cost should be lower, and therefore, you should be able to make more profit and increase the enterprise value as a result. So, Heather, next slide, please. I'm sorry, I'm conscious of the time. I'm not going to talk through this, but basically we've got a lot of information supporting the TCO balance, so that deploying Zynstra versus the customer building their own or you building your own. And there's a set of intangibles around this as well that you really need to consider. So we were on the advisory panel earlier, and we were talking about just trying to stay current on the Microsoft licensing alone, and when you can bid it, when you can't, that type of thing. There's a lot of work that we do for you in just those sort of areas, which take time and money for yourselves to actually keep current on. So the Zynstra platform should stand on its own. There's a whole range of costs that should be built in or should be attributable to a customer if you're looking at the true cost of building that yourself and or the customer. Plus, there's these intangibles about having a team of experts there to help you. So, for those that are interested, we can dive down deeper into this, as we interact on a one-on-one basis. Next slide, please, Heather. And this slide, I'm not going to labour on that, but I was trying to find a different way of showing that your customer wants worry-free IT. You, as an MSP, have your pool of subject matter experts, typically very expensive. If you're looking at scaling, what sort of people do you need to add to the organisation to be able to do that? Our view is that you can add people that are not necessarily as technically expert as the people you would traditionally hired, which means you can maybe hire them at a cheaper level, and therefore grow your business better and more profitably, because by going with the Zynstra route, you're actually getting this team of virtual experts behind you that eat, sleep, and drink, hardware options, Microsoft license, server management, firewall, etc., etc. So, use this virtual team to help you stay relevant and go into those higher value areas, but also potentially do more customers with a different type of staff profile. And I think, Harry, there's some good examples of that we can talk to you later on, or you can jump in on, perspicuity being one of them. Heather, next slide, please. So, our partners are excited. We think it's an ideal solution for those remaining on-premise, Windows servers, but it also addresses the hybrid IT opportunity today. So, for any of your customers that are looking about, what should I do next? Should I go all in the cloud? How do I do this? I still like an on-premise server. Can I have the best of both worlds? Yes, we can address that opportunity. Not just the Windows Server and SBS. We believe it will drive that higher margin annuity revenue for you, which in turn will increase that enterprise value. It's still, you're owning the customer. It's still your brand. It's your customer. It's your billing relationship. You have the control. But we think that by looking at a Zynstra hybrid IT approach, you can solve those problems and grow your business. And as one of our partners said, and hence the scuba diving, after sitting down and going through this, and he was one of the attendees at SMB Nation who sat through our hybrid IT workshops. He was saying, great, by deploying Zynstra, I can deploy faster, and I spend less time managing them, therefore I can scuba dive more. So we were going to use that as a strap line, scuba dive more, deploy Zynstra, but some of you may want to, golf or surf or spend more time with family, etc. But the principle is still the same, that by deploying Zynstra, you should be able to do more of the things that you want to do and increase the value of your business. At this point, I'm going to hand you over to Jeff, who's going to talk about Telco MSP and how they're building around the Zynstra platform, the ecosystem that we think will take that to a next level.
Yeah.
Next slide, please, Heather.
Yeah. Right. I actually have, excuse me, I actually have the fun job in all this. I'm definitely not the technical guy. I really have 3 jobs in this, and one is to help help partners increase their top line revenue, help them increase their bottom line revenue even faster than their top line revenue, and then help you create additional value, in your business. What's the net value of your business? So I started to say a little bit ago what we were, but we're specialized distributor. I think we all know what a distributor is, like an Ingram Micro, Tech Data, and we know what they do. They do huge volumes. They get you guys great discounts. But what we do is a little bit different, where we're trying to tie all the different pieces together that really drives business, and we kind of put those symbiotic pieces together already to support you. So I don't really need to go through Zynstra as far as your product goes, but that is kind of that's the glue in all of this. That's the attraction. And I can tell you that the hybrid conversation right now, from my travels, I just got back really early this morning. I travel a lot. I go to a lot of conferences. I do a lot of speaking, and I run a couple of trade associations also. And I can tell you the hybrid conversation is the hottest conversation out there right now. And it's hot for a couple different reasons. Number one is, that whole disruption part of our business, right? No one's going to forklift their entire ecosystem one day to the cloud. They're not going to say, well, partner, or my VAR MSP partner, I trust you. Let's do all this in one day, and let's hope for the best. they don't do that. There's concern there. So that kind of disruption is just a bit too much for most partners and a bit too much for most customers. So this hybrid conversation is hot, and the Zynstra project, for exactly what it is, has been a great conversation piece for me. And I got people looking at me going, no, I love this, and they love it because, again, they're not just going straight to the cloud, but yet at the same time, I believe Harry made the comment, someone was talking about relevance in the marketplace. So this isn't a 2.0, 3.0 version of something. This is a new product that takes away a lot of that pain from an old only online premise product, but yet you're able to answer those cloud needs at the same time. So so that product, and it's all OpEx, right? So customers isn't out there buying anything. You're not investing a lot of money. There's really not a lot of downside to that. Plus, on that whole disruptive part of the business, that nobody wants to be the first out there because they don't want to be the pioneer who wore the arrows on their back as they're running away, right? So this takes away that. So you're going to a modernized offering. So this isn't just that, like I said, a 2.0, 3.0 offering. This is a modernized offering that allows them to have some controls at the office, but everything replicated in the cloud. And those cloud offerings like 365 also backed up on the appliance. And I can see, when I have these conversations, I can see the wheels turning. So it's modernized, but not so disruptive that they can't put it out in front of their customers. So there's your relevance right there. On top of the other offerings that we're doing behind that is Datatel Solutions. So Datatel Solutions, which is a master agency from the telecom space, is part of this offering also. We're pushing through on the hybrid conversation with hybrid voice also. So one of our big partners in this is Star, and they are doing they have an appliance to the customer's premise, but replicate in the cloud, and with other calls we go through the topography of that. We also do all the bandwidth and the other voice offerings that can be added to these services. It's all recurring revenue. So it increases both that top line and bottom line revenue. Concordus Applications, which is a software integration company, which is also part of this, they're going to help you with that verticalization. I think every report I've ever read from Gartner and Forrester and all the different groups say the guys are really winning, the guys are verticalized. And if you've got some ideas, if you've got some line of business applications that you want integrated into the service so you can have a go-to-market strategy, please call me. And at the end of this, I'll give my phone number. Because we're always looking for those ideas. If we can support you around verticalizing with a good go-to-market strategy, please let us help you. The next is the help desk and installation support. So we've got, we're supporting you at level 3 calls here in the U.S. for support. You're going to handle level 1, level 2. We've got we have a NOC in Sacramento, one in Kansas City. We've got roughly 30 engineers cross-country, all U.S.-based, so there's support, again, both at help desk and at install support, so you're never on your own. And then lastly, intuitive marketing, and I know Sean is on this call with us, and he was with us at another event. So you want to verticalize, and you want a good go-to-market strategy. You want to wrap all this messaging around and what you can do for your partner. Let's help you with that also. Because I think a lot of this, I know I come from the sales world, so you think I know marketing, and I really don't. I know when I see good marketing what it looks like, but I couldn't develop it if my life depended on it. So we really need that. So everything that we're doing at Telco MSP is from a partnering perception. So we don't ever see you as a customer. Everything we've ever done from day one in any of our companies has all been recurring revenue. And really what that means is when a dollar comes in the door, we're sharing it in some portion. So if a customer walks through the door, you're making money, we're making money. If a customer leaves, we're both losing money together. So you're never going to see any kind of a program that you got to worry about. Does it benefit us and not benefit you? Is there some kind of a misdirection here? It's not. A dollar comes in the door or a dollar doesn't come in the door, and we win or lose together. And I've seen those are the best types of long-term relationships. And so lastly, what I want to do here is give my phone number for anybody that does have some ideas that they want some help with, because we do have all these different pieces, and I can put you with the right people. My phone number is 916-825-2267. I work in Pacific time, so just make those calls accordingly to that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jeff. And your email address is on the next slide. So
oh, well, fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. And we're really excited about what Telco MSP is trying to do for the community, and we think, as Jeff mentioned, with Zynstra as enabler, it really is a unique environment. And also, as per this slide, the time to capitalize is now. People are talking about it. People are making those decisions. There will be servers where people are questioning what to do next. You know who they all are. Let's look at those specific customers and see how we could actually provide you a quote for a Zynstra approach. Heather, if you've got the next slide, there's as that slide said, there's 3 million Windows servers out there. As far as the next steps, clearly there's quite a lot to take on, and there's a lot of questions coming in. It's quite hard to get the sophistication of the product over and the impact that it could actually deliver and the benefits it can deliver to you in one go. One of the things we found is that the sandbox, we have a sandbox software demo where you can go on to the GoToWebinar, and we've set one up for tomorrow such that those of you who are interested can jump on that tomorrow morning at 12 p.m. EST or 9 a.m. EST. If you do so, you'll receive a special Zynstra notebook and pen, and you may say, wow, that sounds really exciting, but apparently these Zynstra notebooks are very well sought after, and we get a lot of requests for them. Once people have had one, they just can't get enough of them. So please go to the join us tomorrow. James Fox will take you through all the aspects of the software, where I believe it will bring this to life, and you'll see the autonomics and the self-healing and how to set them up, and it will really click and make that a lot better for you. So please join us tomorrow for a sandbox software demo. If you can't make this Friday because it's Halloween, if the demo's not scary enough for you for tomorrow, then please join us the next Friday as well, and we'll do the same rerun of that. For all of those that have attended this webinar and also the sandbox demo, head to the next bullet point, which is the key one. We have put aside a special $1,000 cash rebate for those of you that are in US and Canada, and if you sign up a deal after having been on this webinar and attending the sandbox tomorrow or next Friday, then we will give you a cash rebate on the first deal that you close with the Zynstra platform and Telco MSP. So that one would hope that that will really help as well. And if you've got any questions, and if you've got a customer that's already looking at where do they go next, then email Jeff, and he can go through an appliance configurator. Within 10-15 minutes we can give you a ballpark figure of how much it would cost, and also Jeff can take you through some of the benefits of going the Zynstra and the annuity services model. Have the next bullet point, please. If you're joining us from outside, if you're in Canada or the rest of the world, then please email me myself, and I'll do my best to help. The scuba diver has arrived, and if you're keen to do more scuba diving or golf or whatever, then really join us tomorrow on the webinar, and or email Jeff or myself, and we'll do what we can to help.
Very cool.
I think. Harry, I think we're ready for questions. So sorry about the speed of the last few slides, but hopefully there's enough there for people to understand that this is a new way of thinking. It's a unique solution, and it's ready to roll. And we really look forward to helping you.
That's the key point. It's here today, folks. So, Heather, if you wouldn't mind kicking out the thank you email, maybe if possible today. With these links, especially for that sandbox demo tomorrow, my concern would be that if we send out our email tomorrow morning, it mathematically could be just a little bit late for people to join it. So Heather, I'll work with you to see if we can do our thank you today. So we do have a couple questions. Let's see. Okay, so here's the one I told you about. Interesting. If you do all of the IT maintenance, once it's in place, how can I make money since my customer will no longer need me?
Yeah.
And you kind of hit it head on, but we better address it again, Brad.
Yeah. So the idea is that you're still responsible for the IT maintenance, but and you can still charge what you've been charging, or you might need to reduce that slightly if it's a competitive bid. But we're doing the work for you, so therefore you're not having to do the work yourself. We're there doing it for you, but you're still providing a service to your customer that has value. It's just that we're part of your virtual team and we're doing it for you. So hopefully that's how you make more money, because instead of doing these things that we're doing for you, you can be winning new deals or providing a higher value consultancy in other areas.
Yeah, and to add to that, what this really does, it allows you to work on your business instead of just in your business all the time. I think a lot of business owners think that they're the cheapest labor there is when they're fixing customers' issues. The truth is they're the most expensive. The best thing you can ever be doing for your business is helping find net new customers, new ways to market, and things along those lines. Plus, what we've allowed you to do here, not only are that's where the part where you're increasing your bottom line, but which also helps you increase your top line, is you're going to be able to spend more time finding those net new customers. But we're giving you a way to market with additional products and additional cash flow that will help to add on to those customers. So that customer, which is making you $500 a month now, can easily turn into a $1,500 a month customer within a couple of years of adding additional products on it.
Brilliant.
Yep. And Jeff, if you don't mind, just folks, let me put a wrapper on that. That's a really good point, Jeff. So a pocket MBA moment. Tomorrow morning, our newsletter will go out celebrating our 15th anniversary, and I've got a blog where I talk about a pretty popular book I'd like you to think about, a book called E-Myth Revisited, and it's exactly Jeff's point that I'd rather be biking than signing checks. No, I still work.
Yeah, that's right.
But, point well taken, Jeff. Brett, did you have a comment before we go to the next question?
No, I think that the great answers, and hopefully that helps. It's a different way of thinking about your business, and and we're here to help you to do that, and the Zynstra platform is an enabler. One of the questions you pinged me, Harry, is about not-for-profit organizations. So we have two prices. One, the commercial pricing for the appliance with the Microsoft licenses all built in a supplier licenses, but we can also, if it's a church or charity, etc., or education, we have a not-for-profit pricing of the appliance with the reduced Microsoft licenses built in. So, yes, we pass on all the benefits of the Microsoft not-for-profit discounts.
Cool. Let's see. We have who's your closest competitor, and what advantage does Zynstra have over them? Brett?
As I mentioned early on, back in 2011, that nobody would be able to get funding to build a on-premise hybrid IT solution. So because of the success of the founders, they were able to fund this themselves and have been working on it for the last 4 years. It's only in the last 6 months people are saying that hybrid IT is the norm, and we've got tens of man years of development from some of the best software developers in the world as a head start. So we have not yet identified anybody that's a direct competitor in the SMB space. There's people who do similar sort of things, but in the enterprise data center space, but they haven't looked at how they would address the SMB marketplace through the channel. So we're unique in that respect. Our biggest competitor is whether the customer feels they can do it themselves, or whether the partner, whether the partner still wants to do it itself as well. So it's do it yourself is our biggest competitor.
Next question. Main audience so this is maybe a compilation. Main audience concern is that they are handing over their clients to Zynstra. Rhett, we hear this a lot with any supporter of SMB Nation. So better take this one. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, we're channel centric. We sit behind you as the partner, and you own the customer relationship, you own the billing relationship. You buy the Zynstra product from Telco MSP, and we're your virtual team. We're not. We have no desire to have a direct relationship with your customer. What we're trying to do is help you win more customers, and we sit behind you there. So, it's should be a non-issue for the Zynstra appliance. It's we're here to help. We're part of the virtual team.
And I would say your relationship with HP kind of fortifies that. HP is a channel, has earned a great channel reputation. Rhett, we have about 3 minutes left, so we'll keep moving along. Can you ask Rhett a PC version of how? Okay, this is being rephrased. Well, I'll just read a politically correct version of how does the SMB IT Pro fit into this plan? How do you support your SMB IT Pros? I mean, again, it's kind of a common theme about relevancy and not being found redundant. You've kind of answered it quickly. Put a cherry on that icing.
Yeah, it's what we are as an enabler. I talked about the washing up. We're doing the washing up for you so that you can concentrate on the things that add more value to your customer. Looking around the line of business apps, looking at the challenges that your customers face with the use of technology. But the baseline is what we're doing for you. And you can still charge for building the server. You can still charge for delivering the managed service. But we can do that for you in a more profitable way, in a more repeatable and robust way that hopefully means that you can scuba dive or you can play golf or whatever. But you don't have to sweat and worry and stress over every single server that's deployed in your customer base. Because we're doing that behind the scenes for you. But that frees you up to do win more deals and grow your business and spread the risk amongst more customers.
Well, the other piece to that is by standardizing your business, you're increasing the value of your own company significantly. You're not a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of different things. Some services done the traditional way, some other ways. When you standardize, you increase and you increase your revenue, you increase the value of your company significantly.
Okay, hey, quickly, by the way, I can go a couple minutes over. We always do like to kind of respect the audience, but we do have a large number of questions, so we'll have to kind of knock these out. I think the answer is yes in this. Can we offer line of business apps as remote apps running on the server? I think that's yes, right?
Yeah. We provide you the Windows and the Linux VMs as you would run on any server, and that's part of your value add is working with the customer on the line of business apps and putting them in the VMs and managing those. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next one, quick hitter. Do you have a virtual appliance for abroad users? Well, I would say you're from the UK, so you're by definition abroad, but go ahead.
Yeah. We have customers that are HQs in the UK, but they have deployments, and it talks to your last point, that it's that consistent instance, or Jeff's last point, where the head office function wants a consistent instance in New York, Miami, Shanghai, Monaco. It's a luxury boat company, by the way. So they have offices in very expensive places where they don't want any IT resource, but they want to know that every single one is managed in a consistent way, and they don't have to worry about it. So we can ship HP servers anywhere in the world as part of our solution. So you can buy it in the US, and we can ship it anywhere in the world, and it will come with the care packs as well.
Next question. I'm going to try and wade through this one. Storage size on the boxes are pretty small, 0365C. I'm not quite sure what they mean by the C SKU, but 250 with only 250 gig of storage. So maybe, that's one of your SKUs? Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is the storage expandable?
Yeah, the storage that we publish is for the end user file store, and this is literally only the end user file store. So this is, as I've just said, what the operating system needs, what the VMs need. The VMs are all size, small, medium, large, extra large, etc. What cores do they need, what RAM do they need, what disk space do they need. That's all taken care of. So what you're seeing is the end user file store, which we worked hard to make sure that it's applicable for the number of users. So we we are pretty comfortable that there's enough disk on those appliances to deliver the service that we jointly want to provide to those end users. So it really is just the end user file store.
Okay. So here we're going to pop out 2 more questions. There are a few more that we'll have Rhett answer offline. Rhett, you'll be receiving the report. So you can reply to those offline. Maybe, hey, you know what, turn it into a blog. Okay, so the next question is, what is the Firewall AV platform?
Right. Well, we use open source. So, and I shouldn't have gone on holiday last week because that's I've forgotten. Cripes. It's a well-known open source one that we've we have a philosophy where we'll use open source where possible for certain key functions, and then we add value to those. We're trying to keep the cost of the appliance down as a whole. So as a philosophy, that's what we're trying to do. So it's Unbundle is the one we use. It's a premium license as well.
Okay, and are you HIPAA compliant? Is the next
Great question. Great question. And we are working with a leading consultant in the US to see what we can do to provide the level of compliance that makes our partners feel comfortable signing up to the business agreements. It's a grey area for everyone, as we all know, and what we want to try and do is to really try to reduce some of the greyness by putting our money where our mouth is on the platform and actually coming up with something that we can provide as a value-add service to you as the partner through Telco MSP that actually makes you feel, helps you sleep at nights knowing that you've signed up to a HIPAA-compliant deployment. So we're definitely working on it. Hopefully we'll have some news. We'll put it up on the website in the next few weeks, and we'll hopefully have a date by which we can actually, this side of Christmas, where we can actually say, yeah, if you use this Zynstra appliance, uniquely, you will be able to say this to your customer.
Very cool. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we ran a couple minutes over, but it's a pretty important topic. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for presenting in an ongoing conversation about the hybrid solution and the industry as a whole. Folks, we'll see you next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel for the weekly webinar. And in the meantime, have a safe and fun Halloween, and keep your eyes on the morning about the history of SMB Nation over the last 15 years, how we got here, where we're headed, and we look forward to working with you for the next 15 years, doggone it. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great day.
Brilliant. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.